Today is not a day that you would usually associate with good largemouth bass fishing. The wind is 20, gusting to over 30 miles an hour. It is pouring rain. We've got I don't know if you'd call it a nor'easter, but there's a pretty serious storm hitting Cape Cod and a lot of the Northeast right now. And I am heading to a couple of my favorite bass ponds. I love fishing in this weather this time of year. Bass are already feeding hard because of the pre-spawn. They're fattening up to get ready to spawn in a few weeks. And on top of that, you have a storm like this dropping pressure, and it just makes them feed even harder. It's as close as you get to blitz fishing in freshwater, I think. Well, it's definitely not going to be a very comfortable day out here with 43 degrees, sideways rain, and bad wind. After 2 days of quarantine with my wife and kids, this is going to feel downright refreshing. All right, so this here is a relatively small pond. Not very deep, pretty shallow. I usually kayak fish this, but a day like today, with that wind gusting up to 40 miles an hour, that may not be the best idea in the kayak. So, for me, the bait I like to use in these conditions is the rattle trap. This is the freshwater storm fishing equivalent of a bucktail. Just like you would, love to be on the rocks in Montauk in a northeast flow throwing a bucktail, I love fishing these ponds with rattle traps this time of year. A lot of that is because they cast well into the wind and they make a lot of commotion, so they get noticed even though the water can be a little churned up. And bass absolutely love them. Red, dark colors on dark days, largemouth bass seem to really like them. See, I'm not really... Oh, there we go. Wow. That didn't take long. First cast. And he's not a big one. A lot of times these days can be more quantity than quality. But, if you're lucky, you weed through enough of these little guys. Man, he really wanted it. That's one for one. Now, I'm a big believer in the first cast curse. So that has me a little shaken up. But the only way to break the first cast curse, and I don't know if you're aware of this, is to catch a fish on your second cast. Oh. Perfect. I need to land them. I need to land them to effectively negate the first cast curse. It's a little bit better fish. Not, definitely not big. But he's bigger than the first. And see, this is exactly, well, not this fish particularly, but this action is why I love these days. That's 2 casts and 2 bass. Definitely not breaking any world records with those. But on a day when I'd normally just be sitting home waiting for the weather to improve, I will take it. All right, no fish that cast, that's okay, because I already broke the first cast curse with that second cast bass, so maybe there's good things ahead. Always wondered where the first cast curse came from. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that's 3 bass and 4 casts. Again, I just have to hope that I can weed through enough of these. Oh, he's skinny. Go eat, man. You're a burger. Just have to hope I can weed through enough of these little ones to get a big one. I do have jerkbaits too. That's another good option. So rattle traps are probably my favorite lipless crankbait, but they all work good. Just been using rattle traps forever. That's a lot of it. The first bass lures I ever bought was a 1/4 ounce rattle trap. They work in a lot of conditions, but they are perfect for days like this. Hoping I can go have time to hit a second pond that has pickerel in it, because pickerel also go bonkers on days like today. I know a lot of people prefer bait casting rods. Oh, this one. Bait casting rods for bass fishing. I am not one of the bass specialists. I have 2 or 3 sticks I use for them. At one point when I was getting really into bass fishing, I probably had 10 different bass rods. I had my crankbait rod. Now, so I'm mostly just hitting these small ponds in my kayaker from shore. I've got 2 or 3 rods that, like this one, I've had for about 5 or 6 years. Does a little bit of everything. Throws the rattle traps well. I can fish soft plastics, finesse, jerk baits, shallow crankbaits. But anyhow, I know a lot of guys, most guys prefer bait casters for bass fishing. And I do for the bigger baits, swim baits, spinner baits. But on days like today, when you've got a lot of wind, it's just a lot simpler to go with the spinning rod. That way you're not picking out backlashes all day because you're trying to throw into the wind. Oh, there's another one. Oh, he's off. Not a big one. They're charged up. These small ponds, small muddy ponds really fish well this time of year. And it's great if you have a kayak. But wading them, oh, that might be a little bit better one. Wading them can be a little bit tough. Not a big one. It's a fighter though. Yeah, they're all kind of in this like 10 to 12 inch range, maybe 13 inches if I'm being generous. But I know this pond has some big bass. I've caught my biggest ever bass out of this pond, and it is just a matter of weeding out the little ones. Tons of small bass in here. The big ones are in here too. A day like today, you can do both. You can have quantity and quality, if you're lucky. Water spots on the lens, probably. Oh. Oh no. You do have to flip the bail. That's it's important. Damn it. Caught a lot of great fish on that bait. I guess it didn't owe me anything. Still, I wish it wasn't at the bottom of the pond right now. I like those dark reds and oranges on that day, so rather than going for the other rattle trap I brought, I'm gonna go for this one. This is a Yozuri, I think, but I like that orange bottom. Tag. Get back to it. You hate to lose the hot bait. Within what, 10 minutes? I don't even know how long I've been here. Not that long. It doesn't seem to matter. These fish are fired up enough that it's all good today. It is. I know there's a big one in here somewhere in front of me in casting range. May seem nasty, but it is way better than sitting through frozen for the billionth time in the past 2 weeks. But in all seriousness, I hope everybody's being safe. I hope everybody's getting through this quarantine, this crisis. Right now, fishing, a lot of the states in the Northeast are saying, fishing's a great way to get out, social distance, get outside, enjoy the outdoors responsibly. And as you can see, I'm here by myself, Even if you are fishing places with other guys, just, maintain your distance from them. And a couple states right now, I don't know when we're going to release this, it's April 3rd now, A couple states have put some limitations on fishing, and I think if in the Northeast we continue to be responsible, we don't overcrowd spots, we'll be able to continue to fish through this. It's not everybody needs an outlet. Fishing for me through this has kind of been a reset button. You're at home watching the news. Everybody's kind of going through the same thing, but you go out and just, even if it's just for an hour, you get to forget about it for a little bit. And since we seem to have a lot of weather like this lately, do not let a little rain or wind keep you inside. I don't know, maybe it's just one dumb one out there I keep catching over and over. So you may notice we tagged this on the On the Water YouTube channel as a real adventure. But this was Andrew Burke, one of our video TV producers' ideas. He said, these are more informal kind of fishing sessions. They're not like the On the Water angling adventures that airs on NBC Sports Boston. These are just kind of our, the staff's trips. And a lot of them will just be hitting the ponds. Andrew did the first one for stock trout. Kevin Blinkoff filmed a couple that are coming up on pike fishing in Canada, just a family vacation. He happened to film just like this, just kind of with his GoPros. Considering I haven't moved, it's pretty good for the amount of fish I've caught so far. Just casting the same little area here. All right, let's give it a whirl. Let's move down the bank a bit. Quick switcheroo to a mega bass jerkbait. I also like jerkbaits in these conditions, but I work them pretty fast, pretty aggressively. We're going to go head back to spot number one. Spot number two was kind of a dud. Fish were a little bit smaller, and there were less of them. All kinds of technical difficulties right now. Thought I lost a second rattle trap there. Let's go. I think that's got to be the last cast. These fish shut down on me. They shut right down. And it may not be a coincidence that... Oh, so much for that. First cast fish and the last cast fish. Pretty looking little fish. And I might have said that was my last cast, but this guy changed my mind. Well, my camera died just as I was releasing that last fish. Truth be told, I did make a couple more casts. It wasn't my last cast, but that was a great little outing. Definitely going back home feeling recharged a little bit. So guys, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot more great videos coming out. And all right, good luck out there, everybody. Be safe.